Hello, we are from the Psychology Faculty Research Team in collaboration with educational practitioner at Lab School Kindergarten. My name is Humaydi and my partner name is Awaluddin. We are collaborated with Mrs. Zaina Akbar as lecturer on Psychology Faculty. And at this moment, uh, we try to writing and doing simple research about pandemic 19 and its relation to motoric in online learning. We know that since March 2020, Indonesia is still hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, and during that time, learning at all school levels is done online, start from kindergarten to university. And most of us believe that this is the best way to keep the stimulation going, as stated by Minister Nadiem Makarim. During this pandemic, we see that there is one area of activity that is needed by early childhood. The area is movement, and this is the basis of assimilation for us in conducting the simple research how online learning can also stimulate children movement. Research is conducted at lab school, kindergarten, a school that has been thriving since 1968 and has become a school for urban Jakartans. This slide presents the line of our simple research. We start that the big problem is pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, and the solution to learning is online learning, or some say distance learning. And then a problem occurs regarding how the stimulation of movement is carried out and how FMSR, fundamental movement skills, is stimulated by children's sensors and motors. We believe that to improve children's social competence, enabling the children to identify movement problems that hinder their motor development. Sensory processing difficulties suggest additional challenge in participating in Zoom classes. We give name is Zoom classes because we use Zoom platform for online learning. We believe too that sensory integration can help children increase their attention in completing tasks in online learning. And we found the conclusion that FMS or fundamental movement skills and uh, sensory stimulation as an alternative to solve problem occurring in online learning during the pandemic era. And the bold note is an alternative to solve problem. We have a simple method for our simple research. First, our research is case study. The case involves a preschool group for younger children between 4 and 6 years old, and their experienced preschool teacher who have been teaching for several years. The preschool setting is located in an urban area in Jakarta, Indonesia. Data collection was done based on field notes, photos, and videos taken during the learning process. The focus during observation was on child-adult interaction during different activity and different times of the day during online teaching learning process. The aim was to identify if and to which extent preschool teachers had similar ways of engaging in activities during their interaction with children online using Zoom platform. The researchers choose to observe online teaching learning activities. That is our simple method for our simple research. In this session, we will explain how the concept of play in online learning by paying attention to the concept of motion for early childhood. We provide 8 examples of activities related to the learning them undertaken. At first, we talk about fun ball games. The children could practice squatting, bending, crawling as 7 basic motion of FMS. In this activity, children see the colorful ball as visual and free motion as balance of vestibular. And the second game is a roulette game. The children could be stimulated when children run, move the locomotor, play with tools to activate the non-locomotor system, bend the knee wheel, counting number to activate the vestibular and visual system. The third game is animal yoga pose. The sensory movement will be improved related to vestibular and mostly balance system. The FMS will be improved related to non-locomotor movement, joint center. The fourth game is start game which bring the sky time. Integrated to the cognitive aspect, during the play, children will improve FMS and sensory movement ability by putting the alphabet on the paper. So, the children will improve FMS or fundamental movement skill by moving, walking, and jumping. Besides, sensory movement will improve by activating vestibular and balance system. The fifth game is a game of colors and fish name. This can stimulate the dexterity of the child. Sensory movement related to visual aspect will improve by saying the color, awareness of motion, space, and vestibular system. Then, children will improve FMS by locomotor such as moving, non-locomotor, and manipulative movement such as bending, touching, arrange, and retaking paper. The sixth game is planet game. Children will learn the distance between sun and each planet by stepping and counting them. By this movement, sensory perception, vestibular, and balancing system will be stimulated when children set the motion space. Besides, visualization also be stimulated when children focus on sun. FMS improved when children walk and move as 7 basic motion of FMS. The seventh game is Japanese chess game. This game originally come from Java. This game will stimulate children to move because main of the game is to move from one point to other point on the board, of course. Do it repeatedly in about 10 times to decide who is the winner. In here, we can clearly state that the color is visual and vestibular sensors. The fundamental itself is more about motoric sensors such as running, squatting, and other non-locomotor activity. The last one is spray the ball game. From this, children are asked to play using bird spray filled with water. The media are the colorful ball. Children will spray the ball from start point to the finish point. To mark the finish point, children can use chair legs. The pressure from spraying is a sensory proprioception, is a sensory movement that involves squeezing, jumping, and other effortful moves. When children move such as bending, crawling, squatting, and walking are included in the 7 basic movement above. The fundamental movement skills of this game is the moving from one place to the others, non-motoric and motoric moves. From all the games 1 to 8, this game cannot accommodate fundamental movement skill that originally consisted of 12 kinds because there is no drill setting on the game such as hopping, skipping, jumping. However, we are more focusing in natural movement of children that is similar with the fundamental skills. The reason is children around the age 1, 3 to 6 years is not ready to do drill fundamental skill, but only to introducing to the basic concept. For example, is moving from place, non-motoric and motoric movement related to walk and run. The sensory movement is not all stimulated, but let me explain about auditory sensor. It's about how children listen to the instruction from teacher and its dominant is visual and vestibular perception. So all those 8 sensory is not stimulated. Overall, this 8 games when in fact is related to environmental of natural theme contributing to children motoric that is hard and soft motorical movement stimulated. Conclusion: other learning leads to not face-to-face learning carried out through an appropriate learning platform or application. The process of movement learning in online learning can be supported through basic movement such as running, jumping, walking, throwing, and balance movement. In this process of movement learning, sensory integration is involved to solve sensory difficulties in early childhood. Therefore, in the learning process, it is necessary to take advantage of several forms of sensory integration, namely auditory, visual, vestibular, tactile system, and proprioception. Basic movement exercise in basic movement exercise in sensory skills can optimize children's growth and development. especially in the aspect of physical movement of early childhood in dealing with children's movement difficulties when studying online. And that is our simple observation, our simple uh, research, and I hope that is enjoy. And thank you.